Dear Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, concerning the rip-off university courses, but especially concerning the reward of the Hong Kong police for the wanted pro-democracy activists, I have information and evidences I like to share. Dear Hong Kong police, as you can see from the documents, my name is Luca, I am from Italy, and I was living in my property house in Milan before I became paperless in England after receiving a PhD offer. With that estate property as a guarantee, I will pay £200,000 fine to the Hong Kong activists if they could answer a few simple questions concerning the democratic value they are so keen on. As you can see, I contacted 2 lawyers in Italy concerning this situation, said that I like the Hong Kong police to witness in person and to make their own conclusion concerning the exact number of professors Prime Minister Sunak will be able to find from any of the best-ranking universities, professors who are able to tell one democratic value that it has been a Catholic value in history. And since I believe the Prime Minister Sunak didn't understand the question, I explain it.
The 3rd of January 1925, Mussolini said that the democratic values have to be found in the Catholic tradition. Then he dismissed the parliament, the political parties, the freedom of press. He re-established the Vatican with the creation of the Vatican City, made the Catholic religion the religion of state, and persecuted the oppositions as apostates of the faith and enemy of the state. After almost 100 years, I wonder if the Prime Minister Sunak could find one professor who is able to tell one democratic value that it has been a Catholic value in history. I wonder because the democratic value are the result of the emancipation from the absolute power of the Church, and especially the freedom of choice and the secular value of justice have never been Catholic value but Catholic heresy to be persecuted throughout history and last by Mussolini. And especially the secular value of justice, especially concerning the emancipation from the divine justice. This is the exact reason the ancient Romans used to call the Christian with the name of uncivilized barbarians. Maybe, concerning democracy, the Prime Minister Sunak feels like the Punjabi Democrats with the belief the crowd will dissolve and absolve the sins. In England, the best-ranking university do exactly the same as the Punjabi Democrats, pretending the democratic value are Catholic legacy. But the Oxford Street reinterpretation of the crowd democracy was reported in the news as looting, probably because it was not concerning religious value but secular street value item. Concerning this high moral standard, I wonder if the Prime Minister Sunak could list some of the businesses and trades England could do from outside the European Union, but were prevented and not possible from inside the European Union. The local population is in decline. The locals cannot have confirmation of their true academic career from state university and become paperless like illegal immigrants. The locals are prevented from legal representation because have no passport and are accused to be terrorists for claiming their rights not to be the impostor. On the other hand, whatever idiot from all over the world has the right for an education and the right to feel honest with the recommendation of the bishop for diplomas and degrees they never had, exactly like Giulio Regeni and the thousands he represents. So I like to ask many more colorful, high-ranking students like Zaki Ikram, like the democratic activists from Hong Kong, if they could help the Prime Minister Sunak and tell the world one democratic value that it has been a Catholic value in history. Dear Prime Minister Sunak, concerning the high moral standard of the recommendation for the repeated false accusations, I like to press charges for slander and defamation and political cover-up after the European Union sent lawsuit to Italy. And since the solicitors have been paid by the Home Office for their supposed legal assistance, I call the public defendant and the police as witnesses of the repeated false accusation the police every time had to dismiss as unsubstantiated.
This is the photograph of my graduation ceremony at the Verona University with the professors that made me do the impression of the impostor. This is from the consulate, making people paperless and then pretending from the victims to conform to it. This is the European Union Olaf office sending lawsuit to Italy concerning civil rights violation, but also violation concerning monopoly and competition. Later, it was in the news. And then, years after the European Union sent lawsuit to Italy, this is from Tony Blair office concerning European Union citizen paperless in England. This is from solicitor concerning false accusation made with the recommendation not to be investigated by the police. This is from solicitor concerning more false accusation suggesting to lawsuit the police. This is from solicitor informing that without a passport I have no rights to hire a lawyer. This is from barrister suggesting to lawsuit the Italian Foreign Office. This is from your predecessor Boris Johnson, the flagship of the law of the land. And here is another witness of the high moral standard of the slander and repeated false accusation, pretending the victim should conform to the system of bribery and blackmail of the Catholic mafia.
What we've tried to do is establish what we think about the things that we were told at the beginning. You are no different, I agree with you. But what we were told at the beginning, all of these things at the beginning, we were told that you had a mental illness, we were told that you were very risky, yes. We were told all of these things.
All these things.
And since that time, what we've done is that we've seen you on a regular basis. You've been kind enough to agree to see us, even though you didn't see the merit in doing that at the beginning, to see whether there was anything that we could see in terms of illness, but also to try to support you with the things that you wanted to do to get a bit more established and to be generally a bit happier with how things are. Not that I know what would make you happy. It's not anything that we're doing. It's much, it's a different thing, isn't it? Now, throughout the time that we've seen you, my honest opinion of what I think, I believe in being honest, is that I don't see that you have an illness. What I see is that you've had very difficult circumstances to have to deal with. In terms of what we do, we have a lack of illness going on. If we are not doing any other psychological interventions that are relevant to any of these things, if we are not doing anything else, then
what are we doing? What
so if you say
we dealing with?
If you say that you're the same person as you were before,
I've never changed it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But our response to you has changed. The reason it's changed is because we needed to establish ourselves. All of these things at the beginning, we were told that you had a mental illness, we were told that you were very risky, yes. We were told all of these things.
All these things.
And since that time,
what are we
doing?
What
so if you say
we dealing with?
We were told that you were very risky, yes. We were told all of these things.
All these things.
And since that time,
what are we doing?
What so if you say
we dealing with?
What I find very, very funny is that nobody of you ever asked himself, how can a person live in this situation? With no passport, with degree cancelled, job opportunity.
How do you know that nobody's asked themselves that question? I've asked myself that question when I've seen you. Yeah. And I think it's an intolerable way to have to live. Yeah. I think it's an intolerable way to have to live. Yeah. I think it's an intolerable way to have to live. Yeah. I think it's an intolerable way to have to live. Yeah. I think it's an intolerable way to have to live.